This is Matt for Intu Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined in person for the first time. Josh Kelly. Josh, how does it feel? Good to be back?
Yeah, mate, it's quality. It's quality. It's nice to be back in the atmosphere and like a little bit of a press conference thing. It's starting to get the feel for it again.
Last time I saw you, you were in training camp, I think, for Avanisi, and beard were long. Yeah. Looks like you were going all caveman. You're back now, almost fresh-faced. Yeah. Just something you do. Feeling back to your old self?
Yeah, I went deep. I went deep underground for that one. I'm not sure whether that's my style. You know what I mean? I might have to
I saw you and I was like, is that Josh? Is that kid who's always out? Yeah. He's changed a bit.
Again, mate, I'm back to me happy-go-lucky self. It is what it is. Learned a lot from that fight, so I'm back to my cheerful self, ready to enjoy it, ready to perform.
We won't go over that fight too much because you've probably done it till you're blue in the face and you've had a long time to reflect over it. Learning fight for you, and that's one thing about you I think people forget. Although everyone's saying, oh, the next Usa, blah blah, but you've not shied away from tough fights. You went away to New York, Ray Robinson, and tough fight. You went and fought Avanesian. Nobody's queuing up to fight him now. He can't even get people who are bigger names. You went in there, good performance, but not reflecting on the loss, but what have you learnt about yourself in that time, maybe away from it? Because you were used to winning and used to going out there and shining, and obviously it weren't your night now. So what have you learnt about yourself through that sort of period out the ring?
I learned how to take a loss, obviously, that's first and foremost. The pride hurt for a while, it hurt for a while, so that's one thing I've had to deal with. Which I feel as though I've dealt with good. I learnt a lot about myself personally. I had a lot of issues which I needed to sort out in my personal life, so I sorted them out. Because them cracks in life, mate, they affect the boxing more than a lot of people just think boxers are robots, but you've got outside lives as well, mate, and them outside things creep in. They can affect your boxing massively. So I had a lot of that happening a good few weeks before the fight, and obviously, how much did that affect the fight? I think I probably did. I mean, in my opinion, it was a major factor, but I cannot say that because that's discrediting. That's going to half discredit David, because at the end of the day, David beat us and David did what he did. So, mate, it is what it is. I'm not going to speak any more on that. Do you know what I mean? David did his job, but that's it. Yeah.
I almost feel like you guys are in a bit of a no-win situation when you take a loss, because if there is things going on, whether it be injury, mental, anything, you can't say that without sounding like you're being a sore loser, which you're not. But obviously you've had time to sort of work on whatever's going on within yourself, and Channel 5, terrestrial TV, I mean, we know how highly Calla thinks of you. How do you feel when Calla's there saying, look, he's a future world champion? Do you feel almost like you're back on it now? You're back?
Yeah, mate, I feel like, I've always knew what I can do, because ever since I stepped in the professional gym, I've just been mixing it with top guys, and all the top guys who've mixed it with us in sparring, etc., have said, like, listen, there's no reason why you shouldn't be a world champion. So, and that's the way I look at myself. Like I said before, I reached the pinnacle of amateur sport. It's totally different than professional sport, but if I can do it in my own style as an amateur, I had quite a professional style as an amateur, then I definitely feel as though I can just roll that over to being the top of the sport and professional. I'm enjoying it, mate, now, which is a good thing. I wasn't enjoying it before, I don't think. I was really, like, everything was like, I need to do, like, I was like hard on myself. I'm training just as hard, but I've got a lighter mindset now, so it's nice.
Did you almost feel like you were almost left out in the cold a little bit? Because when you took that defeat, obviously everything goes quiet. It's not like when you win, everybody's calling your name, blah blah blah, and everyone from saying, oh, he's this and the other. It almost went a bit silent. Did you almost feel like people just almost forgotten about you from where you were before, and you were just sort of pushed to one side when, like you say, a loss, and we've just had spoken about numerous fighters, don't define your career. You got Lee Wood, who's had 5 or 6 and he's now top of the throne. Did you almost feel like you were, though, cast aside a little bit?
Yeah, mate, like a learning, like, for instance there, you talk about Lee Wood, reference Lee Wood. I mean, look at Michael Conlan. Yeah. He's winning that fight all the way to the last bell, and Michael's a good friend of mine, and I know for a fact that there will mature Michael to a whole new level, because that was his first 12 rounder where he's had to really see what it's all about. You know what I mean? Now if you stick him in the same situation again, he'll go, hold on, listen, I'm not going to push this. I need to hold back. I need to do this. I need to do. There's loads of little things. Well, Lee had that little bit of experience, and he just held in, and that's the difference between having these fights. And I'm lucky enough that I've had to step up. That I've got stepped up quite fast, and I've had these learning experiences in New York against Ray Robinson, or with Southpaw, gym mates with Jerome Ennis. Do you know what I mean? Spars with Jerome Ennis on a regular. He was on the wrong side of a majority draw with Kavalauskas. He's the last person to beat Terence Crawford. Then you got Avanesian, who's just steamrolling people. Up there. I mean, I had a Commonwealth title in my sixth fight. I boxed Carlos Lee in my fifth fight. I don't know. I'm sort of half blowing my own trumpet here, lad. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to do that, but like.
Well, it's yours to do, isn't it?
I'm normally humble and downplay, and that's where I like to be and let other people speak about it. But I'm just calling on the experience what I've had now. Like, I'm sort of looking back and thinking, right, you've had this. You're a better fighter. You're more mature, mentally, physically. You're ready to take these. This next part of your career can be massive because you can draw on all that experience you've had.
You mentioned up there as well weight and stuff like that, and people were questioning whether you'll stay there, go to 154, and you've sort of said, you know what, depending on how big the carrot is, I'll bounce between either. There's a lot of big names out there now. I mean, you look at, I think Amir Khan says he's not finished yet, so it looks like he's coming back for one more. You've got Florian Marku, who's just beat Jenkins at the weekend. I mean, is someone like a Florian Marku someone you look at and go on then, chuck him in?
Yeah, mate, like I said, at the moment, right, I'm going to be a little bit of a quiet man because I feel as though I want to get these fights under my belt. I want to get these first few under my belt, stay busy, and then once I do, mate, you'll be hearing from me. Everyone will be hearing from us what fights I want.
Is activity key for you? Because obviously, I know fighters are always like, oh, we need active, but you need like 3 fights this year, don't you, at minimum, to sort of get you back into the swing.
Exactly, mate. And like, yeah, you need 3 fights. I mean, we're going from May now, so May till December. That's quick to have 3 decent fights. So I need that activity because I had a year before, I had the COVID. Just before COVID, I was meant to fight. I had COVID, then fought, and then I've had this year. So it's good to have someone saying, right, we're going to keep him busy, because I haven't had that busyness except from the start of my career. I haven't had that. I took a big fight. When you have a big fight, you normally have a big camp and then a little bit more of a break than you should have, and then you come back for another big fight. I've had sort of that in early parts of my career. Now I want to have these fights where I can just keep stepping up.
Confident of becoming world champion?
Oh, mate, 100%. I mean, like, yeah, why not? Like, why can't I? Because I definitely know I've got the talent. But listen, I need to believe in myself, be confident, and that should take us where I need to be.
And finally, have you got a message for all your supporters, the ones who stuck by you through all the tough times? Because obviously you mentioned, you know, things going on outside the ring, but you're back now. Have you got a message for all them guys who stuck behind you?
Yeah, mate, I know they are. All the guys, and my family, my missus, and everybody. I mean, they've been rocks, and I've got through it, mate. And about that little team, when I've got round us, and all the support that I get, like a lot of people find it hard, but like these guys have backed us, so I'm ready to come back and sort of make that support worth it.
Josh Kelly, thanks for talking to Intu Boxing. The pretty boy is now back, Channel 5. Let's see what happens. Josh, appreciate your time, bud.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, mate.
Good luck.
Thank you.